just don't cry. You can rely on me, honey. You can combine anything you want. I'll be around. You were right about the stars. Each one is a setting sun. Tall buildings shake, voices escape, singing sad, sad songs. Tuned to chords strung down your cheeks, bitter melodies turning your orbit around. Don't cry. You can rely on me, honey. You can come by anytime you want. I'll be around. You were right about the stars. Each one is a setting sun. Tall buildings shake, voices escape, singing sad, sad songs. Tuned to chords strung down your cheeks, bitter melodies turning your orbit around. Voices whine, skyscrapers are scraping together. Your voice is smoking, and last cigarettes are all you can get, turning your orbit around. Our love, our love, our love is all we have. Our love is all of God's money. Everyone is a burning sun. Tall buildings shake, voices escape, singing sad, sad songs. Tuned to chords strung down your cheeks, bitter melodies turning your orbit around. Voices whine, skyscrapers are scraping together. Your voice is smoking, last cigarettes are all you can get, turning your orbit around. Last cigarettes are all you can get, turning your orbit around. Last cigarettes are all you can get, turning your orbit around.
Got to need you, I need to shake it. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's great to be back with you all here for another EdgeStream. We didn't do our usual Wednesday night, but that's just because I was working hard editing some videos, and yeah, things came up, and no, I'm just glad to be with you guys here now. A different time, different day, different time of the day, so maybe we'll get some different people that aren't able to tune into live from when I usually do it. But either way, it's going to be a good one. We have a lot to talk about. We have some people talking about my great music taste compared to other people's. Yes, that the first song was Jesus Etc. by Wilco. Fantastic band. I've always known of this song for like the last 10, 15 years, but I've been listening to some of their other stuff, and it's fantastic, and been checking out some Uncle Tupelo as well. The last band that just played, Cherry Cola, the song by Eagles of Death Metal, they are relevant right now, even to what we're going to speak about tonight. Yesterday was, I think it was the 9th anniversary of the massacres that happened in Paris at the hands of ISIS terrorists, and specifically the Bataclan, I think it's called the Bataclan music theater, whatever kind of venue it was, where the Eagles of Death Metal were playing, that band that you just heard. There was a massive ISIS massacre where I believe it was almost 90 people were slaughtered and taken hostage at a rock concert, amongst a whole bunch of other terrorist attacks that happened all over Paris. And just the fact that you had almost 90 people slaughtered in one concert hall is absolutely incredible. And the fact that they did not shut down immigration, and especially Islamic immigration, after something like that happened, is absolutely incredible and is treasonous to France, to all Western nations. Like, that should really be a wake-up call, but apparently it's not. And apparently they had to gaslight the people into accepting more and more immigration. Now, I've seen some memes going around saying that, like, these jihads were cutting people's balls off and raping the dead bodies in pools of blood and gouging their eyes out with their fingers, hanging guts from chandeliers. And I'm not necessarily sure that that's true. I did look this up because I'm like, wow, how the fuck did I not hear that they covered this kind of thing up? Like, what? How did I not hear this before? It seems like there was some testimony from the victims' families that they did some of these things. Though from what I was reading, the evidence is somewhat inconclusive. But I would say at the end of the day, you have 90 people being slaughtered by foreign terrorists, taken hostage, and it was like something like 120 or 130 all throughout France that were murdered by ISIS terrorists that day. Is that not gruesome enough? And yeah, like all the shrapnel devices exploding, maiming people. Yeah, there's going to be, it's going to be gruesome and brutal regardless. The suffering is incalculable that happened that night. I don't think we need gruesome Jewish fairy tales to help bolster the depravity of what happened. Especially not to motivate people to want this to end, to want foreigners to stop coming in. It should have stopped the moment that they came in here. Like, we used to know better. We used to not let foreigners in here like that. If someone were to immigrate here, it would be because they were somewhat close to the bloodlines, to the culture of the people that were already here. Hence why all Western nations were pretty much 95 to 98% European ancestry, European bloodline. But now it's not the case. Now, there is a prime example of somebody who was gaslit after this Bataclan massacre, and it's not just the population as a whole, which we were. It's the lead singer of the band, actually. a few months after this attack happened, he was saying, hey, I saw a lot of shady things happening at the concert before this all happened. In fact, 6 security guards who were supposed to show up that day didn't show up. So they actually banned him from. They actually canceled several Eagles of Death metal concerts. The band that was partially the victim of this massive massacre. They canceled him for saying, hey, look, I was there. Our fans got massacred. One of our members of our entourage got killed that night. And the lead singer is saying, hey, I saw some very suspicious activity that was going on with the staff. Now, what were the ethnicities? What was the religion of the staff that stayed home that day? He claimed that there was one specific guy who was just standing in the back as security, in the backstage as the backstage security guard, that didn't say anything to them and was looking weird. And even before any of this happened, he told the people who ran the venue, like, can we get a different security guard than this guy back here? This guy is weird. So no, he was canceled for that. His shows were canceled after he said such things, and he was bullied into submission. And then he repeated such allegations again later, and then they canceled more of his shows. So at least kudos to this guy for trying to do the right thing, for trying to blow the whistle on what was happening. But yeah, my point is I do play the best music on my show. So we're live right now on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, and Entropy. So you could view us on any of those platforms. There's currently a bunch of people chatting on YouTube and Rumble. And just so you guys know, you guys can donate anything you want during the show, especially if you want me to read something out or lead the conversation in some way. As long as it's not a super long video that's irrelevant that you want me to play or something. But yeah, all donations and super chats are appreciated. I do a lot of work behind the scenes that is just coming out of my own pocket. So all of that stuff is much appreciated. I see a bunch of people in the Rumble chat. Terpsoff89, Lexer, Jen Mac, Halifax Matt, Kaplank, Corporal Ank is here. Kaplank? Captain Lank is here. Okay. Koala Mama, Diaga Drugaloo. Over on YouTube, we have Larshay, Jason73, Trent Tapp saying, how is Edgy even up at this time of day? All right. Cyber Drew, Jason73, Rhea Hayes, Jimmy Jackson. Good to see you, buddy. Canadian Crusader, Posty, Ben Baker, Halifax Matt. Lee Stewie saying, Taidomi, Pat Quinn, what's up? You don't belong in Canada, sir. Yeah, we'll be talking about that in just 1 second. Yeah. Lee Stewie saying, convicted terrorists standing on the corner in Niagara on the lake a few days ago. Yeah, we'll look at that just now. Macro Strategist saying, donate to our guy Edgy. He's been editing cold cans of beans. No, sorry, I've been editing, yes. He says he's been eating cold cans of beans to stay alive. That is true. I do have a lot of gas right now from all the beans that Lee Stewie has been feeding me in order to stay alive on the budget that we do, in order to do all this activism that you're about to see right now. So I'm going to show you us mogging some motherfucking jeets here in Niagara. So this was a great time. We made a few edits out of this, but here's the newest edit that we made out of our little excursion on Remembrance Day. So just for some context, November 11th, Tuesday, it was Remembrance Day, obviously. So we attended a Remembrance Day ceremony in Niagara-on-the-Lake. We did that respectfully. We had a couple signs that had messages that supported our veterans, like, honor their sacrifice, preserve our future was one of them. Defend our fallen. defend protect Canada's future. I think that was another one. Also, veterans need help, not made, was another one. And that one was actually a hit at this Remembrance Day ceremony. A lot of people, veterans and a family of veterans and regular people alike, all found something meaningful out of this sign, and it generated a lot of positive conversation. So it was great to go there and respect our veterans and, engage with the community a bit. It was a good time. But going from there, we flipped our signs around, and apparently the Khalistanis were doing another one of their supposedly 24-hour protests. I don't know if they were actually out there for 24 hours late into the morning. I don't think so. But they were protesting because in Niagara-on-the-Lake, at the same time as Remembrance Day, there was the G7 World Leaders Meeting. So you would think with the G7, that means the 7 developed countries, and 6 of 7 of them, I believe, are European descendant countries, including Canada, the U.S., I think Italy, France. I don't remember the exact countries, but Japan is one of them. Japan, the honorary Aryans, of course. One of the only non-European countries or European descendant countries that has contributed immensely to the rest of society and to the development of society. Now, they didn't do that before basically the 18 or 1900s, but they really excelled once, they caught up to European inventions and whatnot. So do have respect for them. However, this became more like the G15 or the G13 because they invited all the retard inbred cousin countries like India. So one of the foreign ministers of India came, and these Khalistanis obviously had a huge issue with them because they're trying to create their own fake state in between India or Pakistan. Who the fuck knows? All you gotta know is that they're motherfucking Jeets, okay?
You bastard bitch! Fuck you!
Yeah, fuck you too, Jeet. Yeah, all you gotta know is that they're all Jeets. It doesn't matter if they're Khalistani or they're Hindu Vada. They're facilitating a blood feud in our country that we don't fucking want, and we frankly don't want any of them in here. Proliferating their culture, conducting their scams. They already conduct enough scams on our elderly and our people from over there in India, and we're so trustworthy as a Western first world nation, as European descendant peoples, that we get targeted and we get screwed over by this. And enough is enough. These people all have to go back. But anyways, watch this fun video of us going and confronting them, and then me making a new style of edit. I have my edge wave edits. I've done, I think I've done trans wave or Trantifa wave. That was a fun one. You could do all sorts of waves. It started with vaporwave. There's fast wave. Now introducing motherfucking Jeet wave.
Fuck you, bloody!
All right, let's check it out.
You are not belong to this country. This is not your land. You stole it from the Americans, man. Stop this. When did you come here?
1995. Why don't we pop twin? What's up?
This is French. Your movement's French. Keep trying, go. Leave the Canadian land. Let's go, Team Canada! Woo!
We're fucking white base. Immigration.
We're a nation of settlers.
I have white base. Canadians. We're not Canadian. No one's Canadian.
Remigration now!
Hell yeah. So yeah, there's the edit right there. I'm just gonna keep replaying it with no volume while I'm speaking. But yeah, this is a great time. We basically went there, posted up in front of them. You know, they're on their best behavior because they're trying to do PR to the rest of the world and try to say that India are the terrorists. They're not Indian. They're Khalistanis, apparently. Cops were there across the street, and then they came over, and then they talked to us, and they're like, okay, what are you guys doing? We're like, we're just doing our thing, you know, let us be. We're trying to get some content. We're trying to mog the Jeets. We're trying to yeet the Jeet. And they're like, okay, real recognize real. We dabsed it up. You know, we shook hands with the cops. They told us that they agreed with everything that we were doing and that they hate these fucking Jeets. You know, not a direct quote, but that's kind of what I interpreted out of it. You know, so, some of those who work forces are the same that burn crosses, some might say, right? But either way, we had a good time. We mogged them a little bit. Lee was running around yelling, "You're all going back! You're all going back to India!" They actually took offense to that on Twitter. The Indians in specific, they're like, "We don't want them back here. Those aren't Indians." And then at the same time, there were some other ones who were like, "It's so funny that these Khalistanis are getting mogged by these white people who only see them as Indian, and rightfully so. Why would they see them as anything else?" I was like, I actually agree with this comment right here. This Jeet has a point. You know, it's just a retarded blood feud that has nothing to do with us. And at the end of the day, I think this moment near the end of the video, I've been told by a few people that this is the funniest and the best part. So when Buddy right here, this absolute Chad, who has gone viral for holding up the Remigration Now sign, this moment right here, when he tells this guy that he's not Canadian, he's an Indian, it's absolutely spectacular.
We're living fucking white things. Immigration.
We're a nation of settlers.
I have white Canadians. Do not treat it. No,
Whoa. The moment of realization when he's Grand Theft Auto wasted, and he realizes that he's not a Canadian and he'll never be a fucking Canadian. Let's get that in slow motion. Oof, when the realization sets in that you're just another street shitter and you're nothing more special than the rest of your country that has come and invaded. Oof. Big oof. But yeah, these people, they're instigating their blood feud from India in our country. They've got to go. And it's funny because they both, like, these guys think that they're not Indian, and they're trying to co-op Canadianism as a way to say, no, trust me, sir, we are Canadian. It's the Indians who hate the Canadians, and, you know, they want to see you fall. And they even have a bunch of Canadian flags to say, hey, our Khalistani struggle in your Canadian country, your people, we are one and the same. We're in the same struggle. Even the one guy, when I asked him, or when I told him, you weren't at the Remembrance Day ceremony, I didn't see you there. He goes, oh, of course I was. Of course I was. And yeah, here, with this famous line, I asked him when he got here, so this all ties in. When did you come here?
When did you come here?
1995. Hi, Domi, Popcorn, what's up?
As if that is the totality of our culture, that you know of a few hockey players that were popular at the time. As if it's not the blood and soil and toil that our ancestors went through to build this country from the ground up, from nothing to something, to a first world country where people could thrive and strive. No, you came here in 1995. Most of your buddies there came here probably after fucking, like, just last year. But you, if what you're saying is true, came in 1995 to a fully built first world country on its decline into a second world and probably a third world country into the future if we don't do something about it. So you're a parasite. Let's just get that clear. And now you're adopting Canadian culture, not even adopting it properly, but using it as something that you could flash in front of us as a badge of legitimacy while you advocate for your own foreign homeland and advocate for, I don't care that it's terrorism against their people, except for the fact that you're taking Canadian airplanes with Canadian citizens in them back, like in the Air India bombing, and destroying them, doing the biggest terrorist bombings from Canadian so-called citizens. Let's just get that out of the way first. That is your people. That is like the direct terrorist extremist groups that you guys literally support openly. Yet you're going to flash the poppy as if it's a sign of fucking legitimacy against us, and then tell us that we don't belong in our own homelands that our ancestors built. You know, the day of the plane couldn't come sooner, and it's starting to look more like Day of the Catapult or Day of something else. Because this is just absolutely unacceptable in our country.
This is French. Your movement's French.
He says, while waving around the flag of a fake country and being a group of people that the vast majority of real Canadians who have claim to this land think is just something foreign and unimaginable. But, you know, once again, they're too polite to actually say something to your face, which is why we had to go out and do it.
Triangle, leave the Canadian land.
Yeah, and the thing about Jeets is, whether they're Indians or these Sikh Khalistanis, once you start arguing with them, they just immediately show how arrogant, disrespectful, and stupid they are. How they have nothing going on in their brains. They're not smart like the Jews, who are good at subverting cultures, who are good at being fellow whites. These guys are horrible at it. They don't even bother to learn the language or even learn to speak properly. You know, they poorly try to adopt the same victimhood statuses that the blacks and the Jews and other minorities have much more effectively used on our population in order to subvert it. These guys are terrible at it, and whenever they try it, it falls flat in their face, and they just become more hateable every time they try this kind of shit. Now, let's go to this section of it, where just us going around filming, being like, yeah, we don't like these foreigners who are doing this shit on Remembrance Day, just to add on insult to injury, right? We just happened to film a guy who was standing there leering at us. We thought he was just an NPC with nothing going on in his head, but apparently he was quietly contemplating our demise, or at least probably was, because he served 7 years in jail for a terrorist bombing plot on an airplane. Yes, I'm not kidding, and people figured this out immediately because we posted this footage online, and then I believe it was Mocha Berzingen, I can't pronounce his last name, but he does great work on filming these Khalistani rallies and exposing them, and he knew who this was, I assume, as soon as he saw him. This guy has been at rallies, spoken at the same rallies that Pierre Poilievre has spoken at. So there goes your based conservative party. He's Pierre Poilievre, advocating for direct flights to Amistar multiple times, over and over again. And then this guy speaking at the same rally as him. The ultimate panderer for invaders, Pierre Poilievre. But anyways, not to mention the Air India bombing that happened in, I believe it was 1985. It killed something like 280-something Canadian citizens. No, I believe most of those Canadian citizens were Jeets. So, they're Canadian citizens. But still, attack on our planes, attack on our citizens, and probably killed some white Canadians at the same time. So, absolutely disgusting. Not something that we want whatsoever. Happened in our country. So, this guy here, he was trying to hire someone over and over again. He was trying to facilitate a similar bombing on a plane coming from New York City, I believe it was. And that would have killed over 300 people. So this guy is guilty of trying to bomb a whole plane that would have killed over 300 people. Yet he's walking the street. He's speaking at the same political rallies that Pierre Poilievre is speaking at and endorsing. Yet when we go up there and try and film them and talk to them, we're the bigots, we're the racists, we're white supremacists. And you'll see in a second, shortly in this stream, how the CBC, our state media Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, along with CSIS, which is our equivalent of America's NSA or FBI, CIA, whatever, they're coming after private citizens for literally attending a speaking conference where they're selling a couple books and they're talking about working out and tribing and training with each other, with undertones that it's going to be ethnically exclusive. No violence happening. No convicted terrorists who were plotting to bomb 300 people out of an airplane. No, none of that. Just literally trying to destroy people's lives for literally walking in and out of an event at a Scottish cultural center. This is the two-tiered society, the anti-white society that we're dealing with right now, and why it's paramount more than ever to go and confront these people head-on to say, hey, look at me, CSIS. Look at me, Canadian Anti-Hate Network. Look at me, Calistanis. I'm the one who is going to stare you in the face and tell you that you're not welcome, to tell you that what you're doing is evil and that you won't succeed. And then, furthermore, to build the communities behind you and with you in order to counteract these people. Because if you do nothing, they will win. But they are so scared that you are going to do something. And once you do something about it, then other people will finally take their head out of the sand, they'll finally grow some balls, and they'll do something about it with you. A motherfucking convicted terrorist who is trying to bomb a fucking plane is standing right beside me, staring at my friends, because we don't want them here. In-fucking credible. Yeah, just one more thing about this. There was one funny comment from an Indian, and it was the only, well, there's actually another interesting one here. Let me just show it. For one, the massive amount of Indian accounts that tried to co-opt my message, our message, and try to make it something that was in their benefit. I saw that this person here, this supposed Canadian, Ethan, he took my content and amplified it, and I was like, okay, that's kind of shitty. He didn't quote tweet it. He didn't even paste the link to my videos as part of his post to at least give a source for it. No, he just ripped my videos and reposted them himself. Okay, well, whatever. So I looked into him, and I'm looking at Ethan 113554. Okay. At the G7, Canada stands strong against Khalistani extremism. So Canada stands strong against Khalistani extremism? Hashtag Khalistani? Okay, that's kind of weird. Not how I would have written it as an actual real Canadian. Canada held the G7 foreign ministers meeting in Niagara-on-the-Lake, led by Anita Anand, for blah, 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 blah. Canadians stood up against Khalistani extremism as radicals protested, targeting Anand and India's Foreign Minister Jaishankar with violent rhetoric. Yeah, another thing is they had a sign that said "Kill Hindu Vada" in big letters, and then "politically" in small letters underneath it, and then they had like crosshairs, like from a rifle scope on the face of this Indian foreign minister that was there. So I'm just thinking, like, fucking imagine if we did "Kill Carney" in big letters and then "politically" with small letters underneath, and there was just a picture of Carney's face with crosshairs on it. Do you think that would have flown? Do you think that we wouldn't have gotten arrested and fucked with to the absolute largest extent of the law that they could if we did something like that? Of course they would. Yet these people get away with it because no one like really wants to be involved with what they're doing because it's so foreign and so weird and brown and shitty. But they do it, and this is what they do. And they'll be like, these people, Indians, Sikhs, Khalistanis, whatever the fuck they are, Jeets, they'll be like, yes, sir, yes, sir. Yeah, oh, yes, sir. And they'll feign manners, they'll feign, submission. But this is what they'll do when they think that they have the power or ability to do to you. They will say, kill you. And then in brackets underneath, politically. But no, they will kill you. They will bomb a literal plane filled with hundreds of people just to get their shitty blood feud with their other shitty shitskins. They will do that. They will fucking do that. So don't be fooled by the politeness of it. It's a lot like taqiyya with Muslims. You know, they're polite. And they lie about their intentions until they don't have to anymore. So that was fun, and that was a good time. Now I want to get into just an update on the ostriches in a second. Maybe we'll talk about the new supposed discovery about Hitler's testicles. You know, they're still on Uncle Adolf's. They're still on Hitler's dick. Even 80, 90, however many years after he's died, they're still talking about his penis. They can't get off of the man's dick. So we'll be talking about that in a second, and then we'll do a deep dive into the unholy Trinity alliance between the mainstream media like CBC, CSIS, and NGOs like Anti-Hate and the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, and all these fucking anti-hate organizations, and how they're performing far-left radical activism that is anti-white in the form of news, all bolstered up by the security state apparatus. So we'll be looking into all of that, how they harass regular citizens, and they try to do whatever they can in the most egregious ways to stop people from having opinions, to silence people. Literal Bolshevik type strategies in order to shut people down, shut people up, and to ruin people who have honestly reasonable opinions, who don't want to see their people be genocided and go extinct. So we'll be looking into this in a second. In the meantime, I'll play you another cool song because I obviously have the coolest songs. Shout out Ben Baker in the chat who knows what's up. Alright, we'll be right back.
off the shiny robe. I've got a lot of things I want to sell, but not here, babe.
All right, and we're back. That was Summer Babe by Pavement. Great indie alt-rock band from the 90s. See some super chats over on Rumble. We have Cocaine Rim Job for a staggering $1. Thank you so much, Dr. Rim Job. He says, hello, Edginald. We need to have a talk. Jenstein will be joining us shortly. Uh-oh. Hold on. Uh-oh. No, I like this one better. Uh-oh. Jenstein will be? What time is it over there? Not sure what time it would be, but I don't know. I don't know how long I'm going to go for tonight. I've got to go to the gym. I got to meet some guys at the gym and pump some iron. So I can't go too late. Probably go for about 2 hours or so. But it would be great to have the good doctor with us tonight. He always has something disgusting, but often pleasantly nice to say, surprisingly. So that would be cool. Drawfork says, the nerve of those Jeets. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, they really do have nerve. And I think the more that you go and confront them, the more they expose themselves. This is kind of like, well, I don't mean expose themselves as in whip out their cocks, though they do that quite often. So, yeah, if you catch them doing that, amplify that. Maybe send it to the Goofbusters, because the Goofbusters will do something about it. Shout out to Rob Primo, Jimmy Jackson, Bam Bam, and the rest of the Goofbusters. Busting goofs since, I guess, 2 months ago. But hell yeah, they're doing a good job. But no, yeah. Each time they put their own dicks in their mouths that they speak. Like, for example, Rupinder back in PEI, who got a bunch of Jeets to protest the fact that their temporary foreign worker status or their student visas were expiring, and they were only using those as a pretense to get into the country under false pretenses illegally. But their time had expired, their grift, their scam had come to its end, and they desperately and arrogantly advocated for staying in the country, claiming that they belong there. And anytime they were confronted by angry citizens or journalists or whoever else, they couldn't help but digging themselves deeper and deeper into their own hole until it just became completely politically inconvenient for even the liberals, even the leftists, to support them. Like, at least the Jews and the blacks have a bit more tact when they do these things, but these people are just so disgusting and off-putting with their subversion and their attempts to scam the people of this country that, like, if you go and confront them, they will be like, we are real Canadians, sir. You are fuck you, bloody fuck you, sir.
You bloody bastard bitch! You fuck you!
Yeah, fuck you too. You're going home. So yeah, that's fucking real right there. What else are you guys saying? Didn't they name Dundas Square after that one garden gnome? Says Derek, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I wouldn't be surprised. Urshdeep in the entropy chat. Redeem! Taidomi, what's up? Pat Quinn, Taidomi, what's up? Okay, my culture is not your costume, okay? You wearing that poppy, yelling Taidomi, Pat Quinn, what's up? My culture is not your costume. That's cultural appropriation, and that's the death penalty, okay? All right, let's talk about the ostriches. So, I don't want to stay too long on this because it's fucking retarded. Basically, my take on it is, since May, the controlled conservative right, or broadly speaking, the freedom movement, has been soying out, going gung-ho over this ostrich farm since about April or May, or maybe even the beginning of the year, up until now. And that's all they care about is the fact that these ostriches are going to be culled because they had bird flu. The way it started is that in December, Katie and the rest of the family that owned these ostriches, they went on vacation, and then 60 or 70 of the ostriches died of bird flu in this open area. They were like fenced in, but any other birds or ducks could fly through into the enclosure. Like, it wasn't blocked off from the top whatsoever. And 60 to 70 of these ostriches ended up dying of the avian flu, which is highly contagious. And there's just ducks eating food in the enclosure. And it was probably the ducks that brought in this avian flu into them in the first place. And they weren't even there to deal with it. So the neighbors called the police, the CFIA, whatever. And, you know, they're like, what the fuck is going on here? So then they called for the culling of the ostriches, but apparently still some of them survived, so there's still, like 200, 300 of them that are still alive, could potentially be carrying pathogens of the avian flu, which, you know, if is given to any other animals, and then they, especially birds, give it to other birds in food processing facilities, farms that are raising chickens or whatever else in order to be fed to people, or just animals that, you know, it could go any which way. I don't know the exact details of the science behind it, but I do know that this farm was selling ostrich meat. They were eating the ostriches up until recently. They were selling the ostrich eggs. They were selling ostrich fur, ostrich oils. They were doing all sorts of killing of these ostriches. They were medically testing on them for COVID stuff, so they were involved with the COVID scam, but now they're against, now everything that the medical industry says is a lie, you know, and that, you know, their birds aren't being tested properly, this and that. It's all a bunch of lies. This woman is absolutely fucking batshit insane, this Katie woman, who is facilitating this ongoing grift. They deny any chance of conversation about the reality of what's going on there. And honestly, I don't care whether these ostriches should be culled or not. All this attention has been sucked away from true nationalism, from the fact that our country is being invaded by third worlders, the fact that our borders are still open when the exact opposite should be happening, meaning that people should be getting sent the fuck out by boatloads and plane loads. Yet, here we are, all the supposed right-wing alternative media, they're obviously controlled, but they're all focusing on this, because they can get some grift money out of it. Now listen to this crazy nutty bitch, who, by the way, so these ostriches finally got culled. That's the spoiler alert. I think it was last weekend. the CFIA and all their goons and the police finally came in, and in one night they killed all the ostriches. They killed them all. Going up to it during the day, this crazy woman, Katie, with her fake tits, who is the daughter of the woman who runs this ostrich farm, which, by the way, it's not even their farm. They're renting it from somebody else. Though they tried to say that this land now belongs to the Ubugubu Gabaway tribe with the magic of the feather. So therefore, the CFIA, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, by the way, and all the police have no jurisdiction because the feather people say that you can't do nothing. So they were that willing to just give away a whole bunch of land that isn't theirs in order to save a bunch of ostriches. So give it to the indigenous, the Indians, the feather Indians, who we've seen all throughout the country now using their land as a cheap garbage dumping source that is ruining ruining all the areas around it and poisoning people. And, not to mention every other issue that goes on with these people, including the fake genocide that they're trying to use to extort millions and millions of taxpayer money and take away our free speech. But anyways, that's how quick these ostrich people are willing to try to give away land under false pretenses in order to save a couple of shit birds. So yeah, they all got called. This crazy nutty woman literally whipped her tits out. Everyone's seen it. She whipped her tits out at the drones that were scoping out the ostriches. We all saw her gigantic fake knockers. We had our fun there. There's this guy, Jeff, that is trying to bang her that you'll see in a second, and they're definitely been fucking, because everyone is gossiping about them, because this married man has supposedly left his special needs child and his wife at home while he goes and gallivants around with this fake-titted narcissistic bitch who is grifting the hell out of these ostriches that she would have killed anyways. And now here she is doing the most insane sob story about how all of her ostriches have names. Listen to this.
Annabelle, we love you. Frank, we love you. Spunky, we love you. You're feisty and you're fun. You play with us when we do chores. Sergeant Bilko, you're a fighter. Scotty,
apparently not.
You are so red and so amazing. The colors in you are outstanding. Annabelle is 35 years old. Trevor, you got a funky toe, and we love you. We were just making you better.
Oh, Trevor with the funky toe. Oh, listen, this is fucking insane. And this is the Jeff guy. He's the most unhinged. He'll be like, "Yeah, you want to kill these fucking ostriches?" Like, every time he speaks, it's madness.
Honor, Ethan, Carrie, Erica, Donald, Cedar.
Named after Donald Trump, who was supposed to come and save the ostriches, but he never came. Neither did Daddy Elon. Neither did RFK, who said he would come and take the ostriches. But where did he go? What happened to Daddy RFK Grift?
Oh, God. There are so many names. So many names. Canadian Food Inspection Agency.
What about all the chickens, like the millions and millions of chickens that got slaughtered through trying to protect people from the avian flu? That would have actually killed kids. Like, these are fucking animals, by the way. This isn't like when we were advocating against vaccine mandates because it was literally killing children. This is fucking advocating for the culling of animals so it doesn't kill people. Now, I don't know the exact details on whether that would have actually killed people, but I'm pretty sure that this is a lot different than the vaccine movement, but they have nothing better to do now because there's a huge chunk of this freedom movement that hasn't moved on from the freedom convoy, and they're too cowardly, and they're just, frankly, a lot of them aren't us. They're not our people, and they don't want to be called racist, or don't identify as racist, or they're part of the Oogie Boogie Feather Tribe. And they're going to entertain this nonsense to the end of days.
Killing decades of life! Decades of life!
How many decades of life were killed with all the chickens? Without a peep. Even just for your meat. How many decades of pigs were slaughtered so you could have burgers while you're fucking grifting at this farm? While a real guy, a real old man who you left alone to attend and guard the farm at night died in his sleep, or died while he was defending the farm at night. And you rolled your eyes when you were asked about it. What about your children being raped by foreigners? Being robbed of a future? Being robbed of Canada and what it once was, because you people are too pathetic to do anything about it. Instead, gripe about ostriches all fucking day. Instead of the fact that your children will now be a minority in their own country that their ancestors built. That is fucking sad. Yeah, Lee said she couldn't think of any more names on the spot. Yeah. And she also says, ask her to repeat those names again. She won't remember them. No, Trevor with the funky toe. Oh no, Trevor with the funky toe. I just blew his fucking toe into the air. That's me, the top CFI agent right there. I got the most kills in Afghanistan. I should get the gold medal of victory, or whatever you call it. Odie Patton says, I have PTSD now, Edgy. Stop with the gunshots. I'm not going to lie, me and a couple of the Chads, some of them are actually here in the chat. We were trolling the live streams on the night of the ostrich culling after it happened. And the amount of retarded, low IQ boomers and freedom retards that were there, they're like, my ostriches, this is the worst thing that's happened in Canadian history. The world is watching. We will make you suffer for this. You will, just acting totally unhinged over fucking ostriches. And it was so easy to troll them. And, they were, half the things we're saying we were joking and baiting them, and they were like, we agree. And the other half, they're like, we will fucking kill you. They try to dox who I was with my profile and try to cancel me so many times, but they're just too stupid. They're too stupid to even fall through with something like that. At least Antifa has some more tenacity to go through with it. But yeah. Such is the case.
That could actually prove to treat your children. Treat your children for diseases and viruses in the future.
Just listen to that voice. Treat your children and save them from diseases in the future. You just know if someone's talking like that, they're have some form of narcissistic performance that they're trying to convince you of something. Also, no, these ostriches do not hold the secrets to eternal life, or whatever the fuck you are implying. You are fucking nuts, lady. Just whip them titties out already. That's what we all came to see. That's what Jeff over there to the right came to see. That's what he left his autistic child for, and his wife. Just whip them out, Katie. Whip them motherfucking titties out. Tits out for the ostriches. Tits out for the ostriches. Tits out for the... we have fun here over the EdgeStream.
Annabelle. Oh, God, Annabelle. Oh, Regretta.
I regret coming to this ostrich farm, says the old man as he's having a heart attack, and then they brush over it, and they hide the fact that he died because they don't want bad press for all their fucking ostriches.
Regretta, we miss you so much. Regretta. Oh, Regretta. Do you know, it's the funniest thing, we miss their pecs. We miss their love and touching them.
Touching the motherfucking ostriches? Okay, just because it's bestiality to you and you don't care doesn't mean that when you touch the ostriches like that it's not bestiality towards them. Because you're a different beast than they are. And just because Jeff over there likes your big fake-ass titties doesn't mean that the ostriches like that either. So the fact that you molested all these ostriches and gave them OTSD, ostrich traumatic stress disorder, now apparently they need fucking maids. So yeah, we had to call them, okay? So this is your fault, Katie. Fuck you crazy bitch. Molesting these ostriches. Fuck, where are the goofbusters when you need them?
Indian Food Inspection Agency, you have no idea what you're killing right now. You've just started a war in Canada, a revolution.
The revolution has started! Who would have known it would happen like this? That it was just a bunch of fucking ostriches that would, not to mention that Australia literally had the emu wars where, like, everybody just went out and killed emus and they somehow lost against it. But, this is the revolution that... What? What?
You don't kill just to kill.
Yeah, Lee is like, they named an ostrich Regretta. Is that like Greta Thunberg? Regretta. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't prepare a Regretta joke. I tried my best. Yeah, this is the final straw. Meanwhile, Rebel News at the end, the plug at the end. It's not the final straw for them. It will never be the final straw for Rebel News. They'll just find the next grift immediately. So, thank you, Katie, for contributing to the Rebel News grift sphere. Jeggy Poe. This is revolution. It started. We're in civil war now because ostriches. Oy vey. More gunshots, please, Edgy. Fuck you, Regretta! I regret ever letting you sleep in my enclosure! Oh no, let's hope the ostrich people don't find this stream and then clip it and then come and murder me in my home at night. Honestly, I think they're too stupid to, like, find a stream that's not ostrich sanctioned and then clip it on top of that. That's way too much mental effort for somebody like that. Anyways, that was fun. Here's another news story before we get into our main topic of the night. This is really fucking funny. It says, hold on. Adolf Hitler may have had a micropenis in just one ball, DNA analysis shows. So it seems like people are on Uncle Adolf Hitler's dick even 80 years after the Chad has died. They say Adolf Hitler has long been rumored to have just one ball. Apparently there's like a famous song that they sing to cope about Hitler, saying like, he has one ball, he has one ball. I don't know the lyrics, that's just how I'm guessing it goes. He has one ball, he's going to fall. But also possibly had a micropenis, according to new DNA analysis. Now this sounds Jewy as fuck. Only a Jew would be like, I bet he has like a small dick. I bet he doesn't even fuck a lot of women. I bet he couldn't even get, I bet he wouldn't do good on our Jewish-owned Tinder. And rub their hands together. This is like a crass sexual insult when somebody is doing something for their own people and is advocating for their own people. That is usually a Jewish thing, a Jewish smear that they do. So that's where I'm guessing this is coming from, as usual. The Nazi dictators believed to have a hidden genetic disorder known as Kallmann syndrome, which can thwart the development of sexual organs, according to a stunning new documentary analyzing his biological makeup. Okay? Oh, there's another thing. It's like Hitler fucked his own niece. Hitler did this and that. And then when you look into it, there's no real evidence for any of it. So here's the fine print. So the big article says Hitler may have had a micropenis and just one ball. But then you read the fine print, the blueprint, the Jew print, and it says the condition, which can also inhibit the normal progression to puberty, means Hitler had a 1 in 10 chance of having a micropenis. Okay, so he may have had a small chance that he had a tiny dick. Wow. Well, that's just front page news on the New York Post, of course. If he was to look at his own genetic results, he would have almost certainly have sent himself to the gas chambers, said Professor Turi King, the lead geneticist on the study. Okay, that's funny that we have a geneticist talking about this, because they have pushed all the prominent geneticists out of the mainstream conversation because they say that they're too much like Nazis and white supremacists. And a prime example of that is the great James Watson, the guy who founded and discovered DNA, literally DNA itself, the basis of genetics. The guy who founded himself, James Watson, just died at, I believe, age 96. And, however, before he died, he was stripped of all of his titles, of all of his emeritus university titles. He was the head of all these different prestigious organizations. But because, he said, all our social policies are based on the fact that their intelligence, meaning blacks, is the same as ours, whereas all the testing says not really. And yes, he said that genetics cannot be improved with just simple environment. It's something that takes like decades, centuries, but actually in reality millennia of evolution in order to develop IQ and capabilities beyond what a specific race has at a certain point. And therefore, in Africa, the average IQ is somewhere around 70 or lower, which by our standards would be considered mentally retarded. Then, if you move blacks who have about a 20 or 25% admixture of European DNA into them, plus several hundred years of an environment that was created by Europeans, now they have bumped up to 85 average IQ, which, however, happens to be a sweet spot for violent and criminal activity, because they're not too stupid, like the 60, 70 IQ people, to not be able to facilitate criminality, criminal organizations, and violence. However, they still have enough archaic humanoid admixture in them so that they have violent impulses, but they're also smart enough to facilitate criminality. So 85 is that sweet spot for violent criminality, which I don't remember the exact term for it. There is a term, but there you have it, and that's blacks in America, and they haven't gone up when it comes to that average IQ with any sort of new age civil rights era social programs that have been put upon them. In fact, they have made everything worse because you give them everything and then they just take and take and they don't learn anything and they're not held accountable in any way. In fact, they're rewarded for their downfalls. They're rewarded for the bad behavior, like single motherhood, like recidivism when it comes to going in and out of jail, and they're treated better than white people are by the long dick of the law. But anyways, it's funny that they talk about genetics in this regard as if it means something, as if Hitler having potentially a 1 in 10 chance of a micropenis based on a piece of blood that was on the couch, apparently when he blew his head off. But how do you even know that? So they're taking out the black light, they're going cum hunting and blood hunting on the scene of the crime. This sounds completely retarded and just a Jewish fantasy. And who is the lead geneticist, Terry King? Well, let me just show you right here. Oy vey, what is that? What the fuck is in the middle of that face? Yikes. Okay, now I can see where the obsession is coming from now. Alright, they can't... You did something right when 80 years after you die, they still can't stop talking about your penis. Even though that has nothing to do with, like, your the things you accomplished or, the mark that you left on humanity. Anyways, that was fun. Let's get into the main topic of the night. Just reading the chat. Make sure you guys like any of the streams. Get it up into the algorithms a bit. It's always a good help. Yeah, not for the woke of heart said Jews are smarter, but not smart. All right. Just before we get into the final segment of the night, I'm going to show you a bit of the poop throwing festival. So we covered this a bit last week. This Tyler Oliveira guy, absolute mad lad, complete Chad. He went to this one village in India where he went to the world's only poop throwing festival where they gathered manure all year round. And because they believe that their Indian god came from shit or something, and cow shit is holy, so they collect cow shit all year long. They think that eating the cow shit has cancer curing properties within it, so they eat the shit as well. And then they bring all the shit into this huge massive pile and they all throw it at each other and smear it on each other. So this mad lad went to this festival and filmed it all, and then when he released the promo for it, they all try to cancel him, and he had Jeets calling him constantly on his phone, doxing his family. The Indian media was writing headlines like, "Does Tyler Oliveira's mom do OnlyFans?" as the headline. But then in the article they had to say, no, the rumors are unconfirmed, they're just rumors. But, it's just Indians being like, we fuck your mother bloody!
Bastard, bitch! Fuck you!
Because this is the mentality of these people. But it was funny, so I've only seen the first 10 minutes of it so far. I want to watch the whole thing. But these people were actually nicer than most Jeets. I think most Jeets are seething because this, sub 70 IQ village in India, they're poo people. They live and die by the shit. And, they're proud of it. And they were fine with bringing this guy in here. They saw nothing wrong with it. Now, other Indians, they know that their shitty street shitting ways are off-putting to the rest of the world. These guys are too dumb to know that, but they're satisfied to live in their own shithole, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with these shit-smearing Indians who live and die by the shit. They grow out of shit, and they die in the shit. That's fine. I don't hate them. I'm not a hater. Yet, the rest of the Indians, they have this shittiness within them, but they're spiteful against the rest of the world. And, you know, they are these people, basically, but with more of a malevolence against them and more of a chip on their shoulder. And, you know, they hate each other, but they hate us for pointing out how hateable that they are, right? So these guys welcome him with open arms, but the rest of the Jeets, they don't want their dirty little shitty secrets being put out to the world. So then they go like, bloody fuck your mother, Tyler. Oh, we will kill you, sir. We will, you know, like, what about Woodstock 98, where you were rolling in the shit? And it's like, no, people weren't rolling in shit because they knew about it. They thought it was mud, but there was a sewage backup. Like, that's not the same thing, Jeet. It's not the same thing. Your country has like a low 70s average IQ. Half of you shit in the street. It's like half of India doesn't use toilets. You have like over 1 billion people. There's more people in India that don't use toilets than there is in all of America and Canada combined. So that's just the truth. I'll play you a bit of this, and when we get back, we'll get into the main story about how CSIS is gay, okay?
So much shit. That's me at a poop-throwing festival in India, where the villagers spend 6 months collecting cow poop and celebrate the end of Diwali by throwing it at each other and rubbing it on their skin. I'm sinking! I'm sinking! I'm gonna die today! I'm the one who shits! And this is the story of how, after immersing myself into this unusual tradition, I was doxxed, harassed, and threatened by tens of thousands of Indians who weren't happy with me filming this village's holiest tradition.
Our god, the Vireshwara Swami, is born from this cow dung, so we are celebrating this.
It all started when I flew over 10,000 miles to South India, linked up with my translator Vivek, and began our trek into the remote village of Gumatapura. Did this village still celebrate this strange tradition, or is it merely a legend of the past? After a couple-hour drive and immediately upon arrival, we were met with unmatched hospitality. Okay, we made it to Gumatarapa. Oh, thank you very much. Ah, my friend, you're too nice to me.
President member.
President.
President.
Okay.
Former president. Every home have some cattle.
Can we see?
Yeah,
Okay.
and they have collected the dung of it.
And this local was kind enough to bring me inside his home and show me something very important he'd been stockpiling. Oh, right here. Okay, it doesn't smell that bad at all. And how long did it take to collect all this poop?
More than 5 months, 6 months.
5 or 6 months? All of this? 6 months worth of poop? So halfway into the year, you need to begin the collection.
This is for small.
This is small. So a little bit right here.
This is for fresh.
I see. Fresh right there.
But it's
Can I smell?
You smell it for bad, but our
That's pretty intense, yeah.
scientific taste for it's not for you just eating for little bit.
Are you guys learning?
Eat it. Eat a little bit.
Little bit eating. Scientific taste for it's for not coming for cancer.
Are you gonna eat
so
this shit,
scientifically
sir?
proven that if you eat a little bit, it cures cancer.
Little bit daily.
How much do you eat? Like, can you show me?
Licky.
Like just
Little
a
licky in
small.
the
You don't have
shit.
to do it. I just want to see how much. Just a small amount.
Small, anything you can eat it. But
How does it taste?
that taste, but we are playing our
This guy is the
bodies,
funniest
any other
accent.
stitching or anything, it's not came.
Okay. So scientifically,
you can take and check it your lab.
yeah.
That's it came because of your
Our
little bit of shit.
Its smell is come.
Yeah.
Any other kitchen or anything is not come.
Okay. Okay, so this helps the immune system. And do the kids eat it as well? Does the whole No, just the men.
Bullshit.
We have daily eating.
Okay, you don't do that.
We don't daily eat him.
Okay, scientifically it's good for you.
Any cancer or anything,
Okay,
it's come.
decreases risk of cancer.
Very less.
Okay, much less.
Less.
Eat shit, cure cancer, sir. Miracle cure. Wash it down with cow paste. So sorry, Twitch 307 is getting horribly pissed off and disgusted. He says, just change the subject, goddamn. Okay, sorry. I guess we'll do it for Twitch. Anyways, you get the point. If you think that is funny, very less cancer, sir. If you think that's funny, you could watch the whole video. Tyler Oliveira, Poop Throwing Festival. You know, he did a little psych out on us and said, actually, guys, I can't release this movie. My family's safety is too important, blah, 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 blah. You know, they're just coming after me. I should have never messed with India. And I kind of knew that he was trolling a little bit. But Tyler Oliveira, the absolute madman, I'm just going to give him a round of applause for bringing to the world what Indian culture is actually like. And even if this is only one like rural village in India, the rest of he talks about how the rest of Hindus see cow shit as being holy, and they do also eat cow shit. Like I said, half of them shit in the street. They don't do toilets. They have 60, 70 IQ. We don't want them here. we shouldn't have to deal with this. These Khalistanis, they come from the same. The Khalistanis that we encountered earlier, they come from the same shit pile, except for they're a bit more intelligent and therefore more arrogant and entitled than these simple poop throwing peoples who I have no problem with. Hell, I would go in a hazmat suit, but I would be more covered than Tyler is here, and I would go visit, and I would watch them eat the poo, and I would study them for my anthropological research. You know, I don't have anything against these people. I think, yes, they would bloody fucking rape my mother if they had the chance, but, you know, I'd have security with me. But anyways, many such cases in India, and that's why we don't mix. We don't mix the third world with the first world. It's just not going to work. Oh no, I just got sent a, what is this, a Rachel Gilmore video? It is relevant to what I'm talking about for our subject of the night. So, I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. But we'll watch the other stuff, and I might play it at the end. So, you guys remember earlier in the stream, I showed you I went to this rally with a couple of my friends, this Khalistani rally, and just by accident, we identified a Sikh terrorist who was plotting to bomb a whole ass airplane and kill hundreds and hundreds of people, including Canadian citizens. Or American citizens. I think that one was in New York. So an international Khalistani terrorist, and we just accidentally stumbled upon them. Yet we have CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, with the help of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, so this is a non-governmental organization, non-profit, that is dedicated to activism. So CBC is using an organization that is dedicated to a specific kind of activism. And if you look at what the activism it is, it's activism that does whatever it can to stop white people from stopping their demographic displacement, from standing up for themselves, for saying that white people can have any sort of cohesion, could be pro-white. It's against any kind of conservative thought that leads to any sort of discrimination, however justified it is, against any other groups who they advocate for collectivizing amongst each other. You know, they work with all sorts of Muslim, Jewish, whatever other organizations, whatever other collectives. They work with them all in order to attack white people. So these are anti-white hate groups that work with the mainstream media and with CSIS. Of course, they're reporting this to CSIS, which is the Canadian Security and Intelligence State. I don't know exactly what it stands for. CSIS acronym. What does it mean? The Canadian Security Intelligence Service. So this is like Canada's NSA, FBI, CIA, whatever function that serves. It's like basically all wrapped into one, because like in Canada, it's often the shitty version of something that's going on in America. So CSIS, that's what they do. They spy on citizens and they thwart so-called terrorism, except for when a guy like that, who I just pointed out before, the Sikh terrorist, is openly protesting on the street. You know, they don't give information like that to CBC and to the Canadian Anti-Hate Network because they're not interested in stuff like that. They're interested in attacking white people for something as simple as going to a conference with a bunch of social media influencers and a few people that are selling books. And are these books advocating for mass genocide, for blowing up planes like your Sikh terrorist friend over there? Are they plotting anything at these conferences? Are they plotting to go out and attack people? What is so bad about these conferences? There's one conference in particular where they identified like literally every single person who went in and out of that conference at the Scottish Cultural Centre. They had a anti-hate hired photographer, whether they work with them or not, videotaping everybody who walked in and out, and then sending it to CBC, where both them and CBC, and probably CSIS as well, because they obviously work in tandem with all of them, are going and identifying everybody who went in and out, and identifying their names, and if they can, their workplace, and getting them fired from their jobs, taking away their livelihood, and in a roundabout way, directing violent Antifa radicals to target them by any means that they possibly can. Because they're putting it out there, calling them Nazis, so why aren't the violent Antifa going to do something like that? Going to go and attack people's homes, like they did to one guy who was in the Frontenac Active Club. They destroyed his home. But this is the kind of thing that they do. They wrap up they say something is news and of public interest when it's really just highly skewed activism that is based on complete lies, using little bits of fact in order to warp a narrative, in order to hate on people and ruin the lives of people who are trying to stand up against their own genocide. White people, obviously. But anyways, this conference, it was the Exiles of the Golden Age, this group that brought in the Golden One, so that's Marcus Fallen, who's a YouTuber and owns several businesses, and he's basically just like a nationalist who advocates for fitness and for tribing and training with your brothers. I've been familiar with his content for like probably 8 years at this point, and I've never seen him say we got to go out there and start hurting and killing people. And in fact, he's been somebody who says that we have to be nicer to minorities, even if we don't like them, even if we know they shouldn't be in our country. We shouldn't be openly rude to them, which I I don't know where I stand on that. It depends on the situation, right? But this is the kind of guy that they're saying is a threat to security, and he didn't get let into the country when he came to attend this conference in British Columbia. And likewise, there was another guy named Paul Wagner who tried to get in the country, or no, he saw what happened to the Golden one, and he didn't even try to get into the country. So that's kind of the context for it. But just to lead into that, I'll play a different video that actually got released yesterday that I only saw right before the stream. And this will lead us into the rest of the conversation. So this video is what's fueling white nationalism in Canada, and this is on TVO, so another Canadian state broadcasting mainstream media corporation. So I'll start it around 13 minutes, and this is the same guy, Eric Setzo, who's leading the charge on the CBC stories.
We'll pick up a little bit on the sort of online culture, but I want to go back to the active clubs. Eric, if someone is walking through the park, their local park, they may not suspect anything. They may be seeing a couple of people having a workout or something. Can you...
Yeah, because that's literally what is happening with these active clubs in these parks. They're literally just working out in the parks. So how is this of a public concern? How is this a security concern to the public? Because when you go and look at them working out, it just seems like they're working out. Yeah, because they're just fucking working out. And you trying to attach some air of malevolence and, you know, the potential for violence around it, which has been completely unproven. Like, that doesn't do anything. And it's just pure false propaganda.
Help explain what are active clubs? Where can they be found?
Well, you know, active clubs can be found across the country now, actually. And you know, some of the stats out there show that there are nearly 200 now around the world. But when we're talking about looking at, you know, what an active club is, it's, you know, I'm going based on what they're going to be saying on their social media, which they're quite prolific with. So what they normally say is, we're here to recruit. We're here to bring people together to, you know, of like-minded people of European descent. And when it actually, you know, when experts have told us is that you peel back that layer, that while that is seemingly true, the training, the recruiting, the coming together, creating community, there's actually this kind of insidious layer of we're actually prepared for violence. We're actually, you know, on standby in case something happens, in case, you know, a civilization falls.
So they're actually getting prepared in case something ends up happening to them and they need to defend themselves. But, you know, we're the benevolent ones. I mean, we're the malevolent ones. We're the ones who are applauding the violence. This is insane. Right? And you'll see in the next video that I'm about to show you, you have this South Asian MMA fighter that they brought on as an expert to counter the evil white Nazi supremacists, whatever. And they bring him on and he's saying openly on the CBC that, you know, you could have anti-fascists come and working out together. It doesn't just have to be these guys. Yes, we should push them out of society, but yes, you should also be training together as anti-fascists. So it's like, okay, so are you not doing the same thing that he is saying is a public security concern?
You're right. Society collapses. So that's the kind of the subtext. That's below the surface, which they're not. You know, you don't want to be too overt about. Or at least they're not. But when it comes to where they are, this is what was the part, and I mentioned this a bit earlier. But this is what the part that was important to us is that there's this public aspect to this that went from, you know, online kind of, you know, propaganda, memes, messaging, and really going and taking that further and going to real world training. So, you know, we'll...
Oh, how dare they participate in the real world? You know, even if people were in their own basements, you would try and find their basement. You would go knock on their doors. You would you would get it swatted, raided. You're so full of fucking shit. And the fact that you think that people who advocate for their own ethnic interests, if they're white, that they deserve to be hunted down to the ends of the earth, Just shows how fucking racist you are.
See them in parks. Most prominently for part of our investigation, we saw them training in like Hamilton's biggest park, right next to a children's garden.
Much children. And what evidence do you have that that's dangerous for children? You just use children as a meat shield for your fucking agenda. If anything, there'll be people who are protecting children from potential predators within their vicinity. Where is the evidence that active clubs, white active clubs, are going around beating up or molesting kids in parks? No. That's the newcomers. That's the Indians who film children in the parks. The Muslims who have sexual emergencies, or the grooming gangs who are courting young girls and grooming them into the life of prostitution and getting beat and just absolutely brutalized, that your people try to cover up. God forbid there's somebody within the vicinity of these children that would stop somebody like that. Seems like you are a pro-pedophile. Not much better than a pedophile yourself, Eric Setzo.
And right next to a baseball diamond where kids play, right? Like, they're right there next to you sometimes, and most people probably didn't even notice. Maybe they did notice and they just ignored it. But
they noticed people working out. You're out of your fucking mind, dude. Yeah, people are gonna see, oh, look, there's actually men working out that aren't fucking scaring me with their presence, like acting like it's a jihad training camp. Oh, wow, this is actually interesting. Wow, good for them, good for them. Good job, young boys. Like, how out of touch can you be?
There are violent extremes.
So I move forward and listen to this. This is where they really try to get people with this huge twist of reality, this huge lie here.
Operating environment. That's also concerning as well, because as Eric touched on, there are violent extremists in the ranks of these organizations.
Oh, really? There's violent extremists within the ranks of these organizations. Okay, let's hear them out. This is supposedly why this is a public security concern and not just an activist witch hunt against people that the government and the mainstream media doesn't like. Oh, not to mention the fact that Second Sons went out in front of the CBC headquarters in Ottawa and Saskatchewan and had Jeremy McKenzie, the leader of Second Sons, literally yelling at them that they are traitors to our country, yet they haven't made a peep about that. They haven't talked at all about the things that he talked about in his speech there. It might be something a bit more newsworthy than guys working out peacefully in parks with no incidents whatsoever. The fact that 40 or so guys, 50 guys went out in front of the headquarters of CBC in Ottawa and yelled in their faces as they scurried around behind the windows. That might be news compared to them going around and filming people in parks secretly, filming people outside of cultural centers secretly, and trying to ruin their lives for literally attending a conference where literally nothing violent or illegal is happening. They might want to cover that one of these so-called hate groups that they can't stop talking about went and confronted them at their own headquarters. Now, radio silence on it. That's how fucking pathetic these people are. Fucking losers. Now let's see what they have to say about why it's so violent and dangerous, these active clubs.
In fact, it came out just a couple weeks ago that
all lumped under one too. Like, this is everybody who has this ideology, who wants to organize, who wants to hang out with each other.
Niagara-based man named Matthew Althorpe was not only the leader of a Southern Ontario-based active club, but he was in fact in a leadership role of a couple terrorist organizations, one of which was called Atomoff Division, which is a listed terrorist entity in Canada, another of which is called Telegram Collective. And it came out in court, actually, that Althorpe had produced several manifestos for the Telegram Collective, which have been cited as inspiration by multiple attackers across the world.
Oh, wow.
Even for the average person.
So this guy, Matthew Althorpe, this Atomwaffen division group that they're talking about, I've been around for a while. I've been around with Diagolon Plaid Army since before it was even Diagolon. Since like 2019, 2020. And only once these news reports started coming out had I heard of Atomwaffen. And I've heard of all sorts of nationalist groups like Mark Collette's Patriotic Alternative, the National Justice Party in the U.S. I've heard of the NSN, the National Socialist Network in Australia. And, learning about this, I don't know anybody who knows these Atomwaffen guys. And, of course, Diagolon has that association with Second Sons because the leadership is involved with it, obviously. So they're just going to say because one guy was supposedly making these edgy materials online and writing manifestos of how if you were to do something, you could do it like this or that. Or they were also doing edgy memes that they say were inciting genocide or at least being pro-genocide, whether it was in a theoretical or a tangible way that, like, you should go do it. Whatever he did there, he didn't actually commit anything, and now he's facing something like 14, 15 years in jail. I think they're trying to give him 20, this Matthew Althorpe guy that they're talking about. Like, now I've read quite a bit into his case. So they're trying to tie that in with everybody else is brushed under that same broad stroke. So if you want to go hang out with another white guy and work out with them, or God forbid 3 to 5 white guys, then you're literally the same as Matthew Althorpe, and we've got to dox you, we've got to get you fired from your job, we've got to take away your livelihood, put you out to the rest of the world, including violent Antifa radicals who actually do go and bomb and destroy things and kill people. We're going to go put you out at the mercy of all those things just because you go and attend a conference that with a group called the Age of Golden Exiles that advocates for bettering yourself and for working out with a bunch of other white guys, which is ultimately what that conference was about.
Inspiration by multiple attackers across the world.
Stephen, for the
literally never happened. Literally not happening. And they keep mentioning Second Sons, whatever. Literally never done anything like that. If you read like their website, there's no talk allowed of firearms or anything of that nature. So they're just completely lying. Why don't they mention that? So they'll say this guy is a genocidal, like these are genocidal lunatics, but won't even mention that there's nothing like that involved in the club, or at least allowed. Wow. So let's watch the CBC video of this event, and then I have one last video of Lauren Southern getting investigated by the biggest simp you could possibly imagine from CSIS. Like, this guy's fucking creepy. Has a little tiny Asian dick, which probably Lauren Southern likes if you know anything about her. And I don't like that they make Lauren Southern relevant again, because she's honestly not that great. But anyways, let's just watch this other video that they made, that CBC made, about this Exiles of the Golden Age event. And you'll see more about what I'm talking about.
Fascists and white supremacists attended a neo-Nazi event here in Vancouver this summer. The CBC's visual investigation team obtained video from the event from the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, which tracked...
Yeah, so another thing about this is now CBC and the Anti-Hate Network and, you know, all these other anti-hate organizations are now all working together on the same stories. So it's like what used to be just anti-hate is an activism nonprofit, and they go after what they think is hate. Quite often, their targets wouldn't reach to the surface of the mainstream media as being relevant of public interest, right? Because it's not news if I'm going on here and being like, fuck, I hate this person, or like, I don't think these Jeets should be here. That's not really news. But apparently it is now, because, you know, they went and filmed people in parks. They went and they harassed gym owners because they found out that guys were working out at gyms. So now they've completely crossed over activism into being something that's supposedly news. And it's incredible, because you would think that, you know, if it's of public security and public concerns, then there would at least be some violence involved. But no, it's just attacking people for their points of view. That's all it is. This is the violence that's going on here. The violence of taking away a family's income because they decided to go listen or watch someone speak at a conference. A conference where literally nothing illegal or even violent or plotting to be violent, nothing like that even happened. As admitted by their own reporting here. Except for they'll use smears like I just showed you a second ago to say, oh, well, they could be violent at any second. We're just waiting. We're just waiting. Meanwhile, we're getting killed in the streets day in and day out. Just a simple fact for you. In America, you are 30 times more likely to get killed as a white man by a black man than a black man is to get killed by a white man. Yet they'll try to make you think that white on black racism is a huge epidemic and is what the country is the main issue of the country, even though it's 30 times wrong in the wrong direction. But these are the lies the media perpetuates, and the lies that this house of cards that these people here are perpetuating, that they're afraid are eventually going to come crashing down. Whether they understand what they're doing or not is unclear. Some of them may understand. A lot of them probably just have a deep cognitive dissonance, maybe a subconscious understanding that they're not going to get away with these lies forever. So that's what scares them so much about peaceful organizing. Because it really puts a mirror in their face of, the kind of institutional pressure and force that they're putting upon regular citizens who are just trying to advocate for their own self-interest. And what they see in the mirror, they know that this facade can't stand forever. Anyways, let's hear more.
Hate groups. They spent months putting names to the faces of the gathering, and it showed a disturbing trend. CBC's Eric Cito joins us now from Toronto. Start with, if you will, telling us about this meeting and the secret location.
The meeting in the secret location. Yeah, because you would have gone and attacked it and destroyed the venue, threatened the venue owners. That's why it's a super secret location, you piece of shit. I don't know if I pinned it, but there's a pinned message. Might be from one of my moderators. From Northern Aurora, and it says, "This is something a worry." Yes, that is a classic line. Thank you for that. Mika BC says, "Great show, Mr. Edgy. Dags love you and your work. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, bigots." Thank you. I very much appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying this. I'm going to do my best to be as, entertaining and informing as possible. Anyways, let's hear what happened at this super secretive event.
Yeah, Ian, so the conference was organized by a group called Exiles of the Golden Age. And for those not familiar with it, experts say that they're a kind of a folkish group that incorporates a lot of Germanic and Nordic traditions, pagan traditions into their literature and posts. But there's also a lot of white supremacist elements, right? Like there's a lot of swastikas in their posts, a lot of fascist authors that idealize Adolf Hitler. And this year's conference, and this is their words, was about...
You know that swastikas have been around for like millennia now. Including the Jeets use swastika. I walked by a couple doors down and there was a swastika on the door. And I was like, excuse me? I wanted to go knock on the door and meet the lad that lived there. and being like, "Hello, what's with that thing on your door? Should we get to know each other?" But then another day when I walked by, of course, it was a Jeet, and yes, Jeets use swastikas. Swastikas have been involved in many Indo-Aryan traditions. Yes, we were Aryan, sir, for time immemorial. Okay, and this is even what these guys are tapping into at this Exiles of the Golden Age conference, is the fact that the swastika has been an ancient symbol. Something that they're trying to gloss over right now and say, no, they're just pure neo-Nazis, they want to kill all Jews. That's what they're trying to put forth here. Which is, I bet you a lot of people at this rally don't even think that the Nazis killed that many Jews. And I know that's a horrible thing that to even think that they didn't do that, but shouldn't that be a good thing? That they don't think the Nazis did that, and meaning that they don't want to do something like gas the Jews, which they don't believe, they are supposedly Holocaust deniers and they don't believe happened. Shouldn't that be a good thing? Shouldn't be a good thing that there's less hate and violence in the world, and to hear out that argument and try to actually figure it out instead of putting people in jail for it? But of course, no, you can't do that. All you do is hate and try to shut people down.
Forming disciplined groups of men who could rebuild the world amidst the coming wreckage. And this got the attention of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. They took notice right away. It was a secret location, but they figured out where it was, South Vancouver at the Scottish Cultural Centre. And what they did when they found out the location, they sent a photographer there to document all the people going in and out. And
to film private citizens and then harass and try to ruin their livelihoods. And who knows, they might have been successful and actually harmed some families and took in some food out of some children's mouth and caused severe harm. Congratulations, Eric Setzo. I hope you're proud of yourself. You fucking piece of shit.
Shared the video with us, and we spent months analyzing essentially and trying to ID these people. And what we found amongst the more than 50 attendees, neo-Nazis, well-known neo-Nazis, white supremacist groups like Second Sons and active clubs.
Knew that this event, the way it was marketed, the places it was marketed, we knew that very specifically this is a neo-Nazi event. The reason that we've been warning about the size and the threat of the white nationalist movement, they have managed to put aside a lot of their differences.
Okay, now I want you to listen to this part of it, because this is important. This is the head shithead of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
Marketed. We knew that very specifically this is a neo-Nazi event. The reason
right here,
we've been warning about the size and the threat of the white nationalist movement. They have managed to put aside a lot of their differences. They have managed to sort of figure out a unified and coherent strategy. And they are successfully recruiting large numbers of people doing it.
So
there you go. They are seething. This is why they're doing that. This is why they're ramping up the attacks, because they know that what people are doing is starting to become more successful because people are working together and putting aside slight differences and problems to do with personal egos and personal disputes. And these little schemers here, like him, they want to break people apart, and they want people to not work with each other. They would love something like that to fracture the right-wing movement. So this, as Northern Auroran said, and as that Jeet in that other CBC video, the expert says, this is something to worry. Yeah, because people are finally figuring out how to work together in order to advocate against their own replacement and advocate for their own people. So yeah, this guy is very worried, because if we had any little bit of ability to professionalize a right-wing, pro-white movement within our Western countries, it would go so far very quickly. And the reason it hasn't happened yet is because evil people like this guy here, Evan Balgord, and all these other people we've seen before, and the whole power of the state crack down upon you and try to ruin your life. You know that you can't go out and be pro-white if you're in any professional position. You can't even not attend some DEI workshop at your own work, lest you become suspect or immediately fired from your job. You literally are forced to say things you might not even believe in that are actively harming your own people and getting yourself replaced and removed from your own countries. To the point where you're destroying a whole civilization that built the first world and turning it into a third world where your people don't even exist anymore. And people like this are facilitating it. These are literally the architects of genocide right here. And he's worried that you're now not fighting with each other. Well, I think people should continue in that direction if it's worrying. If something is that much a worry, then you're probably doing something right.
And they are successfully recruiting large numbers of people doing it.
So there were white supremacists.
Someone said the tried and true, no more brother wars. Yeah, no, you're totally correct.
Among this group, but also some attendees that maybe people might not expect to be there.
Yeah, members of the mixed martial arts community. We're talking gym owners, coaches, trainers. And I just want to back up for a second. A few months ago, we actually did an investigation about how these fascist fight clubs were popping up across the country, where these people were, these groups were basically training and preparing for the looming race war. And in that story, where we identified public gyms and public parks and private gyms where these guys were training, the gym owners in that case, they said they had no idea this was happening there. Fast forward a few months later and flip that on its head a little bit, we're finding that a lot of the people that were attending, even helping organizing or speaking at the event, were members of this community from across BC as well, from Vancouver Island to the Fraser Valley, and they were working with diverse clientele, children. And so we brought this to a number of experts that study extreme, and we wanted to figure out, what is this overlap between white supremacy and essentially MMA culture? And they basically said that this is proof that this problem is growing in the sport.
Yeah, and like many people have said before, now they're going to put a microscope on MMA, and yes, for a while, they will be like, oh, we had no idea, we have a diverse clientele. Yet, people are inherently right-wing, at least a normie type of right-wing in these things, and they do not like this kind of person. They do not like CBC. They hate CBC. So even if they are like civnats, they're civic nationalists, they still generally are against, Muslims certainly training together and being of a group, and they think that, hey, why can't... Eventually they're going to put the clues together and be like, hey, if jihadis and Muslims are allowed to train together for their own political interests, why can't white guys? And whether or not they'll stand up for the people that you're persecuting now, they probably won't now because they have businesses, and the current climate makes it so that they could effectively get them banned or get them blacklisted from tournaments, or mess with their clientele, their Google reviews, whatever. The current climate, they can do that. But once there's enough growing support, and once you've agitated them enough, there's going to be a huge reckoning, and the pendulum is going to very harshly swing back to the right and knock you right out of your place. So you're playing a dangerous game here. Going too far. You're overplaying your hand here, honestly. Now, I think a lot of people would, like, this thing would grow without the attacks, and it would grow steadily, probably a bit more quickly. So they're obviously doing something that benefits them by attacking. But the fight is going to make people stronger, and eventually you're going to have some big radicals that have their own gyms, and your tactics aren't going to work on them anymore. And then you're really going to have a problem, and it's going to be fucking awesome.
And something needs to be done about it.
And so what did the gym owners and coaches say when you reached out to them?
Yeah, so we reached out to all the people we named in our story, and I just want to note that the Exiles actually posted and said that not to talk to any journalists for the story. But when we did reach out to a number of people, some of them hung up on us, a lot of them didn't respond to our emails or calls, but we did manage to speak to a couple of the people, and one of those fellows is a fellow named Carl Stornis Bliss. He's a strength training, he owns a strength training company out of Mission, BC. He was a children's coach at a Brazilian jiu-jitsu place in the same city.
Always with the children again.
We contacted him, we knew he was at this event. He told us that he didn't know what we were talking about.
Did he have any problems with the children? Was he better at training the children than the other people there who weren't supposedly racist? You know, they never get into that.
He didn't know about this event, but we knew it was him because of the video that was provided to us. It showed that he was wearing the same shirt with the same arm tattoos as in social media posts. And one other note about Stornus Bliss here is on his social media too, there were a lot of nods to white supremacy and neo-Nazism. You know, on the back of his motorcycle helmet, there was a Nazi SS symbol. On his stomach there, he had a tattoo of a Totenkopf, which is the death mask used by the Nazi SS, right on his stomach there. So, you know, we wanted to figure out from there, what about the gym that he worked at, that he coached at, Mission BJJ? We spoke to the owner there, and he said that he had no idea about Stornus Bliss's affiliations.
Led to believe this was a jiu-jitsu seminar. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because my gym has so many.
So yeah, he's just harassing them.
Indians, Filipinos.
This isn't really important. Harassing gym owners. So let's skip to where they bring on this South Asian MMA champion in order to shit talk these people that they just covered.
They're going to be reviewing their booking policies.
CBC's Eric Cito in Toronto. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, a disturbing story, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from our next guest on this. Arjun Bhullar became the first MMA fighter of South Asian descent to win a world championship after he won the one championship heavyweight title. What do you think of this story when you read about this connection between white supremacists and MMA?
You know, it was shocking, to be quite honest with you. You know, sport in general, there's no place for this. Martial arts in particular, you promote discipline and respect.
Okay, except for the fact that you're literally being touted as a South Asian and how great that is. But if somebody wants to be white, that's bad? Okay. South Asian good, white bad.
Respect and honor and community. You work with kids, you know, shocking that there's a connection within our community to this. But it is
your community, okay.
A fringe minority. And it is.
Okay.
There's no place for this.
You're a tough guy who obviously is articulate, but
what a faggot! You're a tough guy. You're the big black basketball players. I wear their names on my back. Yeah, no. You're a big tough guy, and I'm a little dweeb. So I'm gonna look to you as an expert and an authority on this subject. Oh my.
At the same time, you know how to solve something using your hands.
So violence is cool now. Violence is cool.
Do you kind of wish you could get some of these guys in the ring with you?
That was I'll be honest now, if we're TV cameras off, that was my first
I bet
reaction.
it was.
So my instinct is violence, but these guys are the ones who are violent. But, you know, now I'm going to play the upper hand. I have the moral... I'm morally superior, though.
I'll bet it was.
Even though I want to cancel them and make sure that they'll never work again, that their children don't get to eat unless they repent and bow down to me. No, I have the moral upper hand here.
You think about it and you think fighting hate with hate has never been the answer, right?
Except for you're using hate to make sure that their children don't eat. But okay.
Ignorance. They're cowardly people that do this. That's why it's in secret. They're not.
No, it's in secret because they're cowardly, or because even when they did it in secret, you had the state broadcaster, a powerful NGO that uses money from the government to the tune of millions, and then the government itself with CSIS, all coordinating to dox private citizens who merely attended this event, a speaking event, where nothing violent happened. Just to summarize it all up. But no, they're cowards because they did it secretively, even though you did all of that, even when it was secret. But they should just go put their faces out so you could go and shoot them in the face. You fucking idiot.
Stand on their beliefs and give their names and that type of thing. They're cowards. End of the day.
Yeah.
So you know,
It says you, who's saying this all, bolstered up by the Canadian state broadcaster, calling people fucking cowards while you're given this fucking platform.
Can't fight hate with hate. You can educate. You can help them out of ignorance. A lot of that stuff, and at the end of the day, you just cut them out. And that's
you just cut them out. You just push them out of society using your institutional power.
I'm sure that's what our community is going to do.
So this group, Exiles of the Golden Age, had you heard about them at all? Did you know anything about them?
To be honest, no.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't want anything to do with you either. Yet now you've made yourself have something to do with them.
It's not a world that I think we would mix in. They wouldn't be in my world and I wouldn't be in theirs for obvious reasons.
Well, you're in their world
look,
now.
You know, we've got the poppies on. Remembrance Day tomorrow.
We got the poppies on. We are real Canadians on. Now, my culture is not your fucking costume, okay? You are Canada faking. Just because you wear a poppy and you're all performative on the Canadian state broadcaster, hating on the people who founded this country, doesn't mean you're Canadian, and you never will be.
This is an ideology we've been fighting for a very long time.
You've been fighting for a very long time.
Men and women we're going to honor tomorrow. And remember, they're on the front lines and paid the ultimate sacrifice to fight this type of stuff.
So our ancestors fought World War I, World War II to fight against people who wanted to keep Canada or America homogenous, even though up until the 1960s, the popular sentiment, the vast majority of people wanted to keep, I think it was the vast majority wanted to keep Canada a white nation, wanted to keep America a white nation, and it was a vastly white nation, over 95%, until the 60s, 70s, and 80s. No, but they died. They died to fight against people who wanted to preserve that. They died to protect your right to go and film a bunch of people going to a concert or film a bunch of people going to a conference and ruin their lives and make it so that their children who look like their ancestors can't eat. That's what they fought for. According to you, wearing the poppy there with your Jeet friend, with the platform of the Canadian state broadcaster funded to the tune of billions and billions of dollars with our tax money. This is what's going on here. This is not just left-wing propaganda. This is fucking disgusting treason of the highest caliber.
MMA is a rough, tough sport. What was it like for you as a South Asian fighter in British Columbia to walk into that world? Did you feel welcome?
You know what? That's why I like this sport, because if you're not welcome or if there's pushback, well, there's a way to settle it. Sign the contract and we.
Oh yeah, so then let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight, you fucking pussy. Stop trying to push people out and fucking fight them, you faggot.
We can sort it out. And beyond that, you know, it's a one-on-one sport. Like I said, it's got great foundations promoting respect.
You people don't do one-on-one fights, though. We've all seen the videos. Indians rape in packs. Blacks fight and jump people in packs. We've all seen the fucking videos, dude. Muslims groom white teenagers in packs. You don't do anything one-on-one. Get fucked.
And humility and discipline and testing yourself to your ultimate limits. It's the reason I launched the Arjun Buller Foundation. We've done programs from across Western Canada to basically promote exactly this. Sport and martial arts brings communities, cultures, people together. And that's what this is about. We've run specific programs to fight racism and hate. And that's what sport allows you to do, to come together, not promote hate. So that's what these individuals are about. They're not.
So MMA is about anti-hate. It's about proliferating white people being replaced in diminishing demographics and the third world coming in. I didn't know that that's what mixed martial arts was about. But thank you for telling me. Or Buju Gaban or whatever the fuck the name is.
They do not represent the sport or this community. And it's upsetting. It's frustrating. It's many different emotions. But they're not a part of our community.
Oh, you sound frustrated and angry.
Or a representation of who we are.
So how do we fix this?
How do we fix this? I think the first step is awareness, getting this out there within our own community. I think is education. If there's a chance to capture some of these individuals and shine a light.
Peter Biker says, guys got bigger tits than my wife. Yeah, this fat Jeet doesn't look like he is a world champion. And we'll see that in a second.
On the other side of what they're being taught and what they preach. I think that's very important. And ultimately, it just takes time to get through to certain people and give them some runway and some understanding.
Does it give you any concern at all, any anxiety about walking into a gym and training for MMA, knowing that this person next to you may be part of these groups?
To be honest, no. I would be happy to run into someone like this.
So it's not a big deal.
And like
you know, you could beat the fuck out of us, but we're a national security concern. Us aware white people were a concern, but you could also kill us at the same time whenever you wanted to. Wow.
I said I don't know these members at all, and I think that's for good reason. But like I said, tomorrow is Remembrance Day. Let's fight this hate and then this neo-Nazi ideology. Let's remember the folks that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for this. And I will say this: I come from the Sikh faith. My people fought on those front lines as well, representing Canada. We didn't have the ability.
You did not. We've already been through this. There was barely any of you. You were fighting on behalf of, like, conscripted for the British, but fighting on behalf of the Indians there. You were not part of this. Where are your names on the cenotaphs? In fact, the only thing that has been presented has been recently, and it's a complete astroturf, like putting the Jeets and Singhs on the fucking postcard, and just some kind of weird astroturfed virtue signal and pandering to accommodate the newcomers, the new Canadians, so-called, that you and your people are, to try to lay claim and swing your dick on our land. To try and say what our ancestors fought for, and that you were the real we was the real veterans of World War I and World War II, is insanely laughable.
To vote in this country, but we still sat on those boats and went to the front lines to fight this stuff. We earned our place in this community and in British Columbia and in this country. And wherever there is a place for us to stand for what's right, we stand. And
in fact, we need more of this to happen to people like this guy, metaphorically. But, and when I mean more of this, I mean more of him getting his ass beat. No, he needs to get his ass beat, literally. Like, he thinks he's so tough. Why doesn't he fight one of the top guys in one of these organizations? You know, let's set it up. He talks a lot of shit. He says we should handle things one-on-one. That's what's so great about the sport, if you have some differences. Well, this was Anatoly Malakin, a Russian, versus Arjan Bullshitar from supposedly Canada, as it says up there. That's a joke. But, yeah, let's see this Jeet getting his fucking ass beat, and we'll end this segment with that. You love to see it. The end is near. Oy vey. Arjan, the bitch-titted Jeet, just got blown the fuck out. You love to see it.
Business, and I need to wake
and,
up.
You know, everything I just said, I think, spoke for itself. And I want to get into one more thing before we end the stream, and I got to go work out at the gym. This is CSIS going around and harassing people. This is another facet of this anti-white discrimination, of this suppression from the state. It's from the Secret Service, CSIS itself. And they've been going around harassing a lot of people from as far as I've been around in Plaid Army, Diagolon, whatever. You know, it's what they do. They don't have anything. They never get anything. But, like, they just can't help but go around sniffing people's underwear in the trash, you know, going around with black lights, looking for cum stains and licking them up. These are the kind of weak, pathetic faggots that are involved with Secret Service agencies now, like CSIS. These aren't the James Bond super secret spies of the past. These are fat lesbian dykes and nons that have no basis here in Canada, that aren't what our grandfathers and great-grandfathers died for in war. To go around harassing political activists and private citizens who believe the same thing that they did. But anyways, CSIS has been harassing Lauren Southern, in her years of being an activist. So we'll look over a little bit on how creepy they were with her, because they try to manipulate you and use all these different tactics, but some of them get sloppy. I think some of them are drunk, some of them are horny, like this Asian guy that is talking to Lauren Southern here. Yeah, it's very shameful, very low. And I don't get it. Simping over Lauren Southern? She's a narcissistic whore with no moral compass. And she's not even that radical. Like, she's basically a centrist that flirts with the right-wing ideas a little bit. She did a bit more in the past, and, you know, I had more respect for her back then, but she just completely turned on everybody and became a complete narcissist bitch, which she probably always was underneath the surface, but she even turned on right-wing ideology herself because she got too much heat over it, and it was pretty obvious that that was the case. But anyways, let's have a little introduction from herself, her talking about her experience, and then we'll get into this creepy phone call that she recorded from CSIS, where they're trying to flirt with her, and they're trying to get her to turn on everybody. So just a little more context here I think we need is that Lauren Southern got caught up in this Tenet Media scandal. So apparently some Russian backers gave Lauren Shen, who also goes by the Roaming Millennial, another Canadian content creator, this half Asian, half white girl. You know, I think she does some okay content, not anything I would watch, but, you know, typical right-wing slop. Anyways, her and her husband took some money, created this this media conglomerate called Tenet Media, and it involved people like Tim Pool, Lauren Southern, Lauren Shen, obviously, and then like 4 or 5 other people. Dave Rubin, I think, was a part of it. But there was nothing really interesting or good. It wasn't really affecting anything. But this came from Russian money to the tune of millions. So these people were paid to have content that, you know, may or may not have made any of its money back. We don't know. It definitely was kind of astroturfed. But it involved prominent YouTube right-wing influencers / grifters of varying quality, in my opinion. So who knows if it made money? It probably drained a ton of money. And I guess you could say, oh, well, Russia was an enemy of Canada and the States or whatever else at that time, which is kind of tenuous. Like, is Russia really a huge enemy? I know we're funding Ukraine and the war in Ukraine, that conflict there, but is that really that big of a deal if there's alternative opinions on whether that's a good idea or not? Like, it's not even our country. It's completely ridiculous. Like, in my opinion, who cares if some Russian backer wants to give you some money? Like, to make content? Like, is the money going towards, like, arming people or something? Like, the Canadian government's money is going towards arming Ukrainian soldiers to go fight and kill people? Or is it going towards these influencers who are making milquetoast commentary on YouTube and Rumble for whatever reason? Like, you look at all the influencers that this money went to, including Lauren Southern and Lauren Shen herself, who was the receiver of it, and there's nothing there that you would think like, oh, this is pure Russian subversion beyond what is normal and natural in the conservative sphere to even think in the first place. Like, it's completely ridiculous. So I don't even know what the CSIS was trying to find, whether this was illegal or not. I don't even think so. Lauren Shen went kind of dark for about a year or two, and now she's back and acting normal again, I guess. But, like, is this an extreme money laundering operation? Doesn't appear so. So they're just harassing her to try and get her to say things that probably didn't even happen. Yet they'll lie and use all sorts of manipulation tactics in order to fuck with you and tell you that you're going to be taken away from your kids and all sorts of horrible things. Similar to how they try to take away the livelihoods of people who literally just attend a conference.
You know, this is serious business, and I need to wake up and realize that there is, like, potentially like the police might be coming and putting me in handcuffs kind of situation. And I didn't even.
Somebody asked, didn't she suck off a Tate? Yeah, I think she did. Also, she sucked off a Robinson. Tommy Robinson. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. It's like, I don't like amplifying this whore, this stupid bitch, but her call with CSIS does illustrate a lot, and it's a good thing to end the stream on, to give people some context of what talking to public safety in Canada might be like, especially if you're a female and they want to fuck you.
Like that was kind of this situation in my head where it's like, no, surely that can't be it. Eventually the other shoe does drop. Open the door and there's the police with a man and a woman in like leather jackets, black outfits that bring out a badge that says CSIS on it, CSIS, which is our like FBI, CIA equivalent in Canada.
And I understand what you're doing right now. You're kind of keeping low and something that blows over. But I want to tell you, like there's certain things in motion right now. This is not going away anytime soon. Well, let me back up to from our last meeting. A lot of people, especially my like colleague, they're like, all right, if she doesn't want to cooperate, so I'm like kind of beat her off to the wolves, man. Just let her. Again, when you're in like the courtroom, it's the perception, not what the truth is.
So they're literally telling you it doesn't matter what the truth is. Our courtrooms are so bad that it doesn't matter what the truth is. It's the perception that if they can make you look guilty, then you're guilty. Like, do they even realize what they're saying here? Do they understand? Can they even, like, think about how this would look totally unacceptable if someone were to record them in a single state recording consent country like we do, like we live in, where you're allowed to record somebody without their consent as long as they're talking to you in a public place like this? Well, not even a public place, as long as they know that you're talking to them and you're actually there. Yeah, you can record them. So anyways, let's listen to this whole conversation here. You know, she literally, like someone said in the chat, she fucked Andrew Tate, she sucked Tommy Robinson's dick, and she fucked Destiny, who literally sucks guys' dicks, and maybe sucked Nick Fuentes' dick, who gets cucked by his girlfriend before he left her. She almost left. She almost got Destiny to leave his wife at the time for her. Like, this is some damaged goods right here. Like, by her own actions, too. By her own immoral actions. And this creepy little Asian CSIS agent is rubbing his tiny little micropene pecker to her while he's talking to her, getting all creepy while trying to threaten her at the same time. Really fascinating stuff. I've actually heard firsthand from people I trust accounts of CSIS trying to call people when they're drunk, too, and, like, flirt with them. Like, really fucking creepy stuff.
Before you start, I just want to ask you, please, just turn off the phone, please.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really trying here to help you and navigate you out of this. Because if you just sit here and don't do anything, I know that's the easiest thing for your lawyer to say, but your lawyer's not going to be the one sitting in the detentions. Like that happened to you a bunch of times. I know you're actually you put up a very amazing front that things don't just disturb you, and it's quite actually incredible. Like when we came to your door, maybe you had 10 seconds of nervousness. You settled yourself down and you were calm and quiet and nice. It's actually, if in another life, you would have made a great intelligence officer. I know.
Derek says the agent is actually Eric Setzo. It literally sounds kind of like him. Stroking his little micropene to Lauren Southern. Dude, that's fucking low. I know that you want an Aryan goddess in the wheat fields, like supposedly Lauren Southern, but you can't have her. You can't have her, dude. She already fucked another Asian dude, and just because she did that and she dated another intelligence agent, or she married an intelligence agent that is Asian, doesn't mean that you're going to get your turn. She's already turned off from your kind, okay? So give it up. Stop seething and coming after real pro-white advocates and white nationalists just because you're seething that you got rejected by Lauren Southern over your tiny little yellow micropene.
It comes out. It comes out. It does stress you out, and it should, because your main, one of your primary jobs is you're also a mother, and besides your other jobs. As a mother, you want to be there. You want to protect your kid. You want to be there, see him grow up. You also want to be there to be able to provide for him, because you're doing like a lot of multi roles. I don't want to see a situation where that gets interfered for whatever reason.
Well, then don't let that happen.
Well,
so yeah, a nice little baby you have there. It'd be a shame if someone took that away, unless you become a literal Fed and tell us everything you can about everyone you fucking know, whether they did or anything or not. Because like we said, it's not whether you did anything or not, it's the perception of it. Those facts don't matter in the courtroom, according to this guy.
that's why I'm asking.
So this is a threat.
This is absolutely not a threat. This is like our second time coming.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen often. And once that legal ball gets rolling, when warrants or charges are issued, there's nothing that can be done after that. And that's that. I know you're thinking, I can see you thinking when you're writing your notes and trying to get a hold of your lawyer, because I know it was very aggressive to show up at your door, but I think we can help you navigate through it. And again, in my opinion, just doing nothing is not going to get you in a better spot. It's going to be putting you at a significant disadvantage. Nothing might happen, okay? Like nothing.
So don't do the thing that you should obviously do, is say nothing, because they're obviously trying to use whatever they can against you. Like, obviously just call a lawyer, and if they bother you again, say, talk to my fucking lawyer if you want to talk to anyone. If not, fuck off, right? That's obviously the right thing to do. But no, he's just going to lie to you.
They're like, oh, we don't have a significant case against Southern, then nothing. But if they go, these guys are all saying negative things. Again, when you're in the courtroom,
he's trying to say everyone already snitched on you. Literally never happened. Nothing has come of this so far. Nothing has come of this that we know of. Like, roaming millennial Lauren Chen, the one who employed them all with this, who took the Russian money supposedly to make shitty content, nothing has happened. So no, but Tim Pool turned on you.
Perception, not what the truth is, and you're smart enough to know. I'm really
Tim Pool was wearing a wire under his beanie. You're totally fucked, Lauren. Do you trust Tim Pool? Well, I think she trusted him enough to fuck him and date him for a while, and cheat on her boyfriend with it. Oh yeah, I've heard things, but no, yeah, Tim Pool was gonna throw her under the bus for the non-existent Russian money laundering scheme.
They try to actually compete it. My mom was a single mom. You're a single mom, and I understand what you're doing right now. You're kind of keeping low and thinking that Pool is over. But I want to tell you, there's certain things in motion right now. This is not going away anytime soon. What is beneficial for you cooperating is pretty much self-preservation. Out of all the contributors and the founders, all of them have talked to the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person that has not is you, Lauren. The optics of it. Using, Southern did not cooperate. What I'm getting to, the point I'm getting to, is how much can you trust your other commentator that they are not cannibalizing each other, especially when the heat's turned up on them and they're pointing fingers. Let me back up to from our last meeting. A lot of people, especially my colleague, they're like, "All right, she doesn't want to cooperate," and kind of beat her off to the wolves' head. Just let her. I don't think you fully understand the picture of the consequences of not working together. You've been on the ground. Do you trust these people? Do you trust Tim Pool?
Do you trust Tim Pool? He's wearing a wire under his beanie. You didn't even pat down his beanie? What is he hiding under there other than his ego and his male pattern baldness or complete baldness? He's hiding trillions of rubles under that hat, and you didn't even know. And he was making you the patsy, Lauren.
They have nothing they can say. That's the thing.
It was Dugin, Alexander Dugin. He plotted this all. She was grilled about going and talking to Alexander Dugin, like a really famous Russian philosopher, and how that means that she must be some kind of, I don't know. It's never, just the fact that you entertained anything to do with Russia means that you're a criminal somehow. That seems Russia-phobic, if anything. Should be a hate crime.
They can allude to a lot. And that's all really, in this kind of case, that's all you really can allude.
So I gotta ask, when you do the single mom story, how are you feeling, Lauren? Do you practice that in a room with colleagues, or do they?
No, we're actually really normal people. Have moms and dads.
Multiple ones for multiple scenarios.
But I'm just saying, if certain things are moving, it's time to be soft. To make sure that you're not part of the collateral damage, right? I didn't know anything with it. I had to find out, research, and do more digging on it to really understand where you're coming. And this idea of peace, you want peace? I understand that. I'm here to help you.
Oh yeah, why'd you call my gym?
Oh, the gym was get a hold of you.
Stalking you around. Yeah, it was a way to get a hold of you. You already know where she lives, so you just go to her gym now, and you probably smelling her locker when she's working out on the machine, you fucking freak.
And how'd you find my gym?
I cannot be.
You have to tell me.
No, I don't have to do it. I'll promise you this, okay?
I could stalk you, and I don't have to tell you how I do it. I could brag about it to your face. And listen to this.
Yeah. At the conclusion of this, let's say we do work together. At the conclusion of this, I'll let you know. Never get attributed.
So he'll only let you know what he's doing and reveal it all. He'll reveal the big mystery only if you work with them. Only if you actually call them back. So they'll go and start harassing you and then make it seem like you're in a ton of trouble unless you talk to them. And then they'll withhold information and about why they're harassing you in order to get you to start giving them information. And then bit by bit, that's how they fucking try to lure people in. Because nobody wants to talk to these people, but they make you feel like something's going to happen to you that's imminent unless you talk to them. And literally, they're just lying all the time, and you should never speak to them. I mean, sure, you could probably glean some information off of them if you talk to them and hear them out. There are definitely ways that you could do that to at least see what they're talking about and try to get them to give more information while not giving them information. I'm sure there's ways you could do that, but likely the best way is to just stonewall them because they are pretty good at what they do. But I think there's other ways to deal with it. You could do what I just said before. If you're good and smart enough at doing that, don't actually give them any information because they're only going to use it against you or somebody you know, right? Very rarely do they actually have something that is imminent that is actually a threat, especially when dealing with something like this right here with fucking Lawrence Southern and a bunch of fucking Russian money and shitty content. But I think probably the best thing would be, just ignore them, tell them to kick rocks, and film them. Now, they might get pissed off and come after you a bit more, but definitely filming them could also expose them and be like, okay, this person came to my house, now I'm going to expose you to the world and see, this is someone who's harassing me. I don't know who they are. They say they're public safety, but, this is kind of fucked. You know.
To you. Your audience will never know that you provide this information. You'll be kept anonymous. All it would say is this information was provided. And all the side benefit stuff, that would never, ever be written as in we help smooth things over from prosecution or with the FBI, all that stuff. Never. Only assurance we ever.
Someone says secret Asian man. Yeah, that's literally CSIS. Especially someone said this is in BC. Yeah, he's definitely Asian. Yeah, his voice sounds Asian. Not like that's the biggest deal or anything for this, but it's just another funny piece of information that we could obviously glean from this that we could make fun of him for and make fun of Lauren for because she had a secret Asian husband as well.
We could provide you.
Well, and so once again, we're back at the, okay, so no one knows that I did something that doesn't benefit me at all and may even harm me because I've got a government that's politicizing the situation.
I talk to people in different situations and they ask me the same thing, like, if I betray my country, like other people from foreign countries, if I betray my country, what assurance is that I would have that Canada is going to vouch for me or Canada is going to pay me X amount of dollars? Canada is going to accept me as a Canadian citizen. And I'm like, just fucking trust. That's it.
Yeah, and how many people were swinging from bridges after being translators by the fucking Taliban after the Americans pulled out, or in Vietnam?
Right. Good point.
Left on those.
You're absolutely right.
Slaughtered.
Yeah. I'm not. When we work with people, it's never a perfect situation, but we can help people, and I have helped people. And again, this is like a opportunity for you to walk through that door, if should you want to. I know you're very cynical on the whole thing, and we could take it one step at a time and just start slow. And should the RCMP one day come knocking, again, that is already too late for you able to start a relation or start cooperating because you're already considered to be.
Yeah, but if you don't impact the RCMP at all, then.
Oh no,
so you're just lying.
But when they get their ball rolling, we are not involved in any criminal prosecution.
Bullshit.
But
bullshit.
Should we vouch for Southern's?
So you are involved.
No, she's good. They'll be okay. Also, from your end, will you get us out of your fucking hair and not like hanging out at your place all the time, or?
I thought this was the last time you were gonna come by.
Yeah, we'll stop harassing you. So it's coercion.
Well, not if we have to continue this investigation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So now here's the creepy part of the call.
Is there a dating scene here?
No.
Is that average? It's like
this is fucked.
Middle age and old.
It'd be very hard for me to date.
Well, yeah. I assume there must. I see young people now, like 28. You know your profile for your Signal? Is that on your dating profile?
I don't have a dating profile.
The one where you're like this on the tree.
On the tree? I don't have a dating profile.
Well, your profile.
No, my friend just took that photo of me a few weeks ago.
That looks like a dating profile.
Oh gosh.
Picture. And he's got a lot of.
Maybe I should change that.
It's fine. I looked at it and I was like, is that like a dating profile picture?
I don't.
She doesn't want to date you.
You look
creepy fucking.
You look happy.
Oh.
I know I always catch you in like.
I can't believe she's got me simping for Lauren Southern, or he's got me simping for Lauren Southern just by how creepy he is. No, dude, you're not Andrew Tate. You're not Tommy Robinson. You're not even Tim Pool. You will never be as cool as Tim Pool. I never thought I would ever say that sentence, but you're not going to be able to smash, dude. Give it up. That herpes is not yours.
I always surprise you and like that. And you have like this nervous look on you. But you look happy in that. You look very happy.
Do all Asians have this bad of Riz? Like, maybe I can understand. Maybe I understand why, there's a lot of angry Asian incels, because this is pretty bad. This is almost as bad as the Indians, the poo cells.
Thanks.
It's a beautiful night. This is a very interesting life. You could
Yeah.
write a book on it.
You'd be my first buyer, I'm sure.
It's kind of crazy how much
Yeah, it is.
of your content and how much I know about you.
Yeah, it is
Do you, like,
creepy.
have like a glass of wine at night and just look up
I'm not much
Oh
of a
my
drinker.
God.
Not much of a drinker.
No.
He's just hoping that he catches her when she's drunk, like with a phone call, so he could either flirt with her and try to fuck her or, you know, get some more information out of her. But, you know, this Riz, like, she's laughing at you, dude. You're not cool. You're not fucking James Bond here, dude.
Very different from your sister.
James
But,
Wan.
What was
You're like James Wan, the guy who made the Saw movies. Is that right? James Wan. Is he the guy who made Saw? Yeah. You're not James Bond. You're James Wan, the guy who made the Saw movies, because you're really fucking creepy, and you'd probably like to put her in a room and, you know, do things to
looking
her.
into my sister part of your job too?
No, looking at, I don't know, if you want to leave that media world, leave it. Just do your own thing, you know?
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you figure it out.
It's
I'll do like those bear videos, those non-political stuff.
yeah, but no one cares for them.
Really?
Except me.
I like it.
And you.
I do like
And my fed.
Yeah, he knows all about her sister, too. Like, what a fucking creep. But anyways, there you go. That's just an example of CSIS in action. So that's what your tax dollars are going towards a weird incel Asian trying to flirt with Lauren Southern and threaten her. Very fucking creepy. It's also going towards investigating people attending a conference where the lead speaker is a guy who looks like this. I'll just type in the golden one. Who looks like this. You know, this is... They couldn't allow a man this masculine to come and speak to the Canadian people. Even though he's the nicest guy on his YouTube and all his social media channels, you know, this is too much testosterone for Canada. You know, if Canadians learned how to look like and have a physique like this and talk like this in a very stoic Swedish way that I can't even figure out right now because I don't practice accents, but you know, CSIS will make sure we never hear somebody like that speak in our country because that's just way beyond the pale. And yeah, they'll go and harass private citizens who just want to do something to stop the genocide, the white genocide, from happening in their country and having their people go extinct and their children beaten and raped and daughters raped in the streets. You know, that's too much. They have to go and harass and use coercion and go and eventually raid and probably kill private citizens and activists who want to do what's right. But I guess what we could learn off of that is unless you're going to troll them like Lauren Southern did there, and it seems to me like she did a pretty decent job laughing at him and trolling him and then exposing him to the world. If you're good enough at that and you know how to do it properly without giving more information, then, you know, maybe do that. But otherwise, I think it's best that you cut them out. Just don't talk to them. And I think a good resource for that is Don't Talk TV on YouTube. This excellent criminal lawyer, Nicholas Wansbutter, he obviously cares enough about these kinds of topics that he made a YouTube channel called Don't Talk TV, which obviously means don't talk to law enforcement, which includes CSIS, the RCMP, whatever police officers, because they're trying to do something to incriminate you. Now, obviously, if there's like somebody just got stabbed in the neck next door to you and they're looking for witnesses, yes, go and tell them what you know in order to get that person put to justice. But when it comes to political activism like this, you know that they're just trying to fuck with you and they're trying to suppress you and they're getting paid a budget for a left-wing radical agenda that wants you dead. So don't play the game. Or if you're going to play the game, win. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Also, celebrating Thomas Sewell finally getting bail. Let's give him a round of applause. Thomas Sewell, the leader of one of the top guys in White Australia, or the National Socialist Network. He finally got bail from, I believe, the magistrate, or I don't know exactly how the courts work there, but he flashed his copy of Mein Kampf. He argued for his right to be released, and he doesn't have, or at least from what I've heard so far, he doesn't have too egregious of conditions because he's already posted on his public Telegram profile. So that's pretty awesome. But anyways, it's great to see him back. That is an example of somebody who's been through the ringer and has had the full boot of the law try to come down on him from like whatever angle, whether it's the Australian Secret Service, the police, the media, and he just pushes through unapologetically. And at the end of the day, the media can't resist getting their soundbite out of him, even though they're trying to malign him and do whatever they can to make him look bad. He still comes out looking great and pushing the movement forward over there in Australia. So 07s to him. You'll love to see it. Thank you all so much who have come out and supported this stream tonight. Oh, Bigot Bullock on Rumble sent a chat, and he said, are there any interviews like this about Mossad versus the CSIS RCMP disaster? You know, I don't know that Mossad goes around and does these same things. They probably do, but I think they do that more covertly. Like a lot of CSIS and RCMP agents are undercover. I think more so Mossad would be totally undercover, and you wouldn't know it unless, like, obviously you're talking to a Jew who's being real shifty because, you know, it's Mossad. And I think they do a lot of things like psyops online, like fake accounts, trying to push people towards destabilization. They have all sorts of bot farms that they operate. They definitely do a lot of spying, in-person stuff, and of course they actually assassinate people quite regularly. Probably a lot more than you would think, right? Israel has been responsible for like a absolutely massively disproportionate amount of assassinations compared to any other country. Political assassinations worldwide. That's true. But anyways, thank you guys for coming out tonight. I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate your attention, and I hope you gained something from it. So just to wrap it up, fucking no one gives a fuck about these stupid ostriches. You know, we have more important things to care about and worry about, like our own people. You know, fuck these Khalistanis and all these foreign groups protesting in our countries. If you can, do it safely. Go protest them. Go mog them. Do it safely. Get some content. Show other people out there that there's people who are willing to stand up to them and tell them to go the fuck home. So do that whenever you can. Put your face out if you can. If not, find a way that you could do it in a way that's with a mask or whatever else. You know, just try to keep it in a way that's safe, that's not going to be violent, and that's not going to get yourself put in more trouble than it's worth at the time. You know, because we need able-bodied people to continue to push forward, right? Get creative with it, okay? And yeah, fuck them and their anti-white agenda. Resist at all costs. Do it smartly. You know, peaceful revolution is the way to go. Well, I've been Edgy D. Peace out, everybody. I'll play you guys out on a nice song. You know, I got the best music. Shoutouts to Ben Baker. Alright, so Black Celebration by Depeche Mode. Let's fucking go. Cheers, everybody. And thanks again, Bigot Bullock. He says, awesome stream, infinite respect, and throws up some dag slashes. Yeah, I appreciate all the support, man.
Let's have a black celebration. Black celebration tonight. To celebrate the fact that we've seen the back of another black I look to you, how you carry on when all hope is gone. Can't you see? Your optimistic eyes seem like paradise to someone like me. I want to take you in my arms, forgetting all I couldn't do today. Black celebration. Black celebration tonight. To celebrate the fact that we've seen the back of another black day. I look to you and you're strongly me. I want to leave tonight. Consolation I want so much. Want to feel your touch tonight. Take me in your arms, forgetting all you couldn't do today. Celebration. Black celebration tonight. Black celebration. Drink tonight.
Black remigration. Brown remigration. Brown remigration. Good night, everybody. See you again.